had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So see, I got the love of my life, and then I got a job, and then that job became my passion for all those years, and so it was a pretty good time for me.
Hey, welcome to Voices on the Wind. I am Toby Lyles, and my esteemed son,
Maverick Lyles.
Hey, we're helping you catch those ideas that whisk by the head and turn them into what they are, something real. We're doing that through stories of business leaders.
Yes, which we have a lot of those stories on the newsletter, our Substack newsletter. We just have what we're learning from the podcast, as well as just fun stories. So if you haven't checked that out, that's votw.substack.com.
Yeah, check out the Substack. Give us a reply on that, like, comment, do all the thing. And today we're talking to the mayor of Cheyenne, Wyoming. He started out with $300, he and his wife, and eventually ended up being a business owner and then the mayor of the town. So really fun story, and stick to the end so you find out how he made it that whole way. So here we go. So we were just talking about how you started with $300. Was that here in Cheyenne?
I was in Laramie going to school, and my girlfriend at the time, Judy, asked me to marry her, and I'm like, okay. So we got married, but we were poor college students. Neither one of us owned a car. We had just enough money to get through tuition and room and board and things like that. So when we got married, I think we had $300 between us. Last month's rent on our apartment, and we had $300 left. And
wow.
And so that was our starting. But hey, Laramie's a small town. You can get around on a bike, you can walk, and we did great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you, had you just graduated when you got married?
We were both in school.
You're still both in school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Went to the University of Wyoming games. We didn't have any money, so we went to football games and basketball games and plays on campus. And it was good.
Still sounds nice.
It was a great time. Yeah, Laramie was wonderful. And when you have the right partner, it makes life real easy. And I had that. Still do. While we were going to school, she asked me to marry her, and then she thought I needed to have a job.
Oh, really?
And I was doing an internship at the time, and she was working at Job Services, and they had a job in a bike shop there.
Oh, okay.
And so she said, you should apply. And so I did, and I got a job in a bike shop, and that started a love affair for me.
Had you ridden a bike before?
No, I was not a huge cyclist at the time, and but I fell in love with the customers, and I fell in love with the equipment, and I fell in love with the romance of the people having an idea of what they wanted to do. They just want to buy a bike. They wanted to buy a bike because they wanted to do something with it. They wanted to do a triathlon. They wanted to do something, and they would share those stories with me. And then trying to help them find the stuff to do that was really a lot of fun for me. And so I was probably 30 days in there, and I told my wife, I know what I'm going to do when I grow up.
No kidding.
I'm going to run a bike shop, and I did. And that was 1982. And so it's been a long time. It was a great experience.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So see, I got the love of my life, and then I got a job, and then that job became my passion for all those years, and so it was a pretty good time for me. I worked for that company for a number of years.
Okay.
And then my wife was pregnant, and I was traveling a lot with, down into Colorado and things. And it was probably not a good time to, with a young kid. My wife was a bank examiner at the time.
Oh,
she traveled a lot, so I needed to be home. And so it worked out that it was time for me to start my own store. So I did.
Okay.
And that
So
was
let's talk about
1991.
that.
Yeah, so it's 9 years later. And
9 years.
Yeah.
You
So
moved
I
to
worked,
Cheyenne at some point?
I moved to Cheyenne in 1980. I'll make sure I got this right now. It's either 1983, I think December of 1983. Maybe it's 1984.
Okay.
Judy got a job as a bank examiner.
Okay.
That job was in Cheyenne.
Okay.
We were commuting back and forth, I was, and she was, and it was just too much. So, we moved to Cheyenne and worked at the bike shop here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the commute is no joke.
Yeah.
And then, so you worked at the bike shop here. Tell me about the transition from you, if I'm getting your timeline right. You're working in a bike shop, and then you decide to start a bike shop, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it went a lot easier than it probably should have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'd been in the market for quite a long time. I knew the industry pretty well. And it was just one of those things that the first day we started, it just felt like it was perfect. I know it sounds too easy, but it was. I mean, we actually made money our first month, and we didn't have a lot. We were in where Dur Bar is in the Cheyenne Plaza.
Yeah,
we were in that location,
yep.
And we had, I don't know, we probably had 40 or 50 bikes, and I ordered them every Monday, and they came in by the end of the week, and we built them, and we sold them over the weekend, and life was easy. We, it was just a couple of us working there, and it was really a blast. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Cheyenne really didn't have, they had a need for another bike shop, and so our timing was perfect. And, in 1991, things were pretty good economically here in Cheyenne, and we sold giant bicycles, and it was good. Sat down with Mr. Crum, and I sat down with him for 30 minutes and told him my vision, and he shook my hand and goes, "I'll do that."
What?
That's how easy it was. I kid you not. It was a different time back then. And
did you have a relationship with him already?
I did not.
Just a banker?
Yep. I just, was a guy that I was told by my accountant that he'd be a good person to approach. And, I had some financial stuff put together. And after about 30 minutes, he goes, "It sounds to me like you have a good handle on this." He goes, shook my hand and goes, "I'll finance that." And so the next Monday I picked up a check and we started. My wife was literally in the hospital having our first son, and I quit my job and we started a bike shop.
Wow, that's a lot of change.
For her, it was. She tells me now she was panicked, but she didn't let me know that.
Oh, yeah?
She's actually, "Oh, yeah, you'll be fine." But I guess inside she was a little panicked.
That's a big risk.
Yeah, I think so.
So help me understand. I mean, you have a business degree, so you're no stranger to how to put together a business plan, I'm guessing?
I don't know that I had that really, honestly.
Okay.
But yeah. I had a good idea.
Research.
I had a good idea. Well, I'd worked in the industry, in the market for a long time, so I knew the customers, and I knew what needed to be done. And I think having an owner in the store versus a chain store, there's a difference between having an owner and a manager in the store.
Sure.
And I thought we could take advantage of that, and that proved to be true. I mean, the very first day we sold a bike. We opened the store. A lady came in with her son, and
that's incredible.
And I showed him to him, and she bought the bike. And I looked at, went home that night and told my wife, I said, "This is going to be easy." It wasn't easy. Believe me, it wasn't easy.
Okay.
But yeah, it was good.
You seem like you have a level of passion to you, even today.
Yeah, I do.
Was that there then? And do you think that was part of the success?
I don't think people were looking to buy a bike. They were looking for a place to buy a bike from. Bikes are, they're red or they're blue. And, in that time frame, there wasn't a lot of technological differences, in bikes. Like you see, today, we're 10 speeds and 12 speeds and some, back in those days, basic mountain bikes. And so I just think people are looking for a place they felt comfortable buying a bike from. And so I like people, and I think that helped. I love talking to them. I have a lot of questions, and it was easy. From that perspective, just being able to talk to people and, and you listen to what they're looking for, and then you're really not selling them anything. You're just giving them what they asked for. And that was my day.
So you started in the plaza, and then you moved. You I think you purchased a new building.
We built a building in 1998.
Did it go straight from one to the other?
Yeah. So we were in the Cheyenne Plaza for a number of years, and then we had warehouses and things like that we had things stored in, and that's a nightmare, having to run back and grab a bike and stuff like that, and just we needed more space, and so to be able to put everything into one spot. And then when you're self-employed, you really don't have a 401k or anything like that, and so if you could build your own building and pay yourself, then that would be your 401k. As you get to be my age now, that you would have the ability to have something when you left, and so that was the thought process. And so in 1998, Redco, I worked for them when I was in college, and so I was able to come back and hire them high school and beginning of college, and then I was able to hire them to build the building. So that felt great, to hire a local company that I'd worked for to build a building for me. And so we built that, and we finished it in December of 1998, and we've been there ever since.
One of the most exciting things about your story is I mean, I guess you talked about the 401k. There's the startup, and we talked to a lot of startups in this podcast. How did you get going? What's the first steps? Which I think is incredibly important. You've taken all of those first steps, and then you thought about investment and future, and you're not retired from the bicycle station, but you've been able to, if I'm correct, not be so day-to-day involved.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out of the bike shop for 5 years now. David is a great guy, my manager, and he's worked really hard to, do the day-to-day there. We worked together for a lot of years.
Okay.
But yeah, we were able to segue away. When I wanted to run for mayor and become mayor, I recognized that I couldn't be in there. If you're going to pay me to do this job, you can't have me working in my bike shop too, right? There's a step missing in there, though.
Okay.
While I was running the bike shop, I was on the city council for 12 years.
You're right.
Yeah,
I did miss that.
So I think that's something that a business owner can do. You can work in your business and you can be a city council person. And for me, we had a period of time where there was a group called COST. I don't know if you remember them. It was Citizens Opposed to Spendthrift Taxation.
Okay.
I called them the cave people, citizens opposed to virtually everything. And, I had young kids and, they were running for the city council. And their vision was that we would build roads, we would have water, sewer, police, and fire department. That was their vision.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, what about parks? What about recreational opportunities? That type of stuff. And they were opposed to it. They thought the private sector should support that. That the private sector should provide that. Or you can go to Fort Collins or places like that. And I have a business, I have a young family, and I don't want to leave Cheyenne. I love Cheyenne. That's not my vision. So Tom Seagrave is a dear friend of mine, and so we got our wives together. We cooked some steaks, and we talked about the fact that that's not how we see our vision. Our kids were young. Let's run for city council, and maybe one of us could get through, and we could maybe go. And Tom and I both won.
Wow.
And and so I spent 12 years. He spent 8 years on the city council, and we built parks. We built 5 parks, and built miles of greenway, and we built the amphitheater in the park, and we built the plaza downtown and the depot, and all sorts of different things. And and it was a really, really fun time. But we both decided at a certain point that for me 12 years is long enough. It was time to let somebody else do it. So I went back to the bike shop, and I thought I was done with politics, honestly. But it didn't work out that way.
And then what?
I was on the editorial board of the newspaper.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed that experience, helping write the editorials and talk about what's going on in the community and what the paper's position on issues should be. And we kept writing, discussing more and more. I don't know if you call it dysfunction or whatever, but the chaos that was happening, between the mayor and the city council, between our local government and the county, with the governor, those types of things. And, we kept saying somebody needs to do something. And finally one day I told my wife, I think I need to do something. It was somebody needs to do something. I have a love for the place, and, I have some experience, and maybe I could win. And so I ran, and I was able to win, and have the best job of my life right now. It's awesome.
You kind of talked about it with your vision for our city, but we, this is a podcast about business and how to, helping people start businesses. Clearly you care about business and you care about our city. I just wanted you to vamp for a second on business in our city, and I don't know if you have anything to say there.
Yeah, I think for me, what we're trying to do is to try to create an environment that businesses can be successful. Making those investments in ourselves so that our community is healthy, so business can be healthy.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot to look at some of our challenges. For me, one of the biggest challenges we have is affordable and attainable housing. We don't have enough housing. The WCDA did a study recently that said Cheyenne's about 7,000 housing units short by the year 2030. So we're halfway through that period of time, and we're building some homes, but we're not building enough. Yeah. So we worked really hard to reduce regulations on housing, getting rid of minimum lot sizes, reducing the facade requirements, setbacks, all sorts of different things that we could do to try to make it so that our development community could build more housing. And then trying to do some of the other things like Indoor recreation. Cheyenne is a great place. But January, February, March, it's tough. You're not going outside for a lot of walks, and you're not throwing the ball with your kid and things like that. And so having more indoor recreational opportunities. When I took over, we didn't own a gym as a city.
Wow.
So we have 4 now. Not enough, but we have a start. We built a gymnastics facility for kids. We hope to have 1,400 kids in that building here in the near future. It's up and running and it's building, and our goal is to get 1,400 kids into that building. And if we're talking about leaving a legacy, it's a legacy where families have things that they can do together. For me, some of the best memories I have are watching my kids play hockey and soccer and, those types of things. Those are the best days, traveling with your kids and playing sports. And I want to make sure that our kids here in Cheyenne have the facilities and the opportunities to do that. So, building more green space, greenways, those types of things, so that when businesses look at Cheyenne and when people look to come to a community to go work for a business, it's a place that they want to bring their families to do that. But those are the things we're working on so that businesses feel like this is a place they want to invest. I think that that's the thing that we can do. And then we also have to continue to look at the regulation side of it, try to make it easier for businesses to be successful here. And that's an area that we've had some success, but I think there's a lot more work we can do.
Really enjoyed that episode, and I was actually able to be there, which was super cool. I got to meet the mayor, which was pretty fun, and he's a great guy. Has a lot of good thoughts on just then, if you're because he had a bicycle shop, and he just was like, what, I liked working there, and I'm going to do my own business, and I was doing it myself, and I was like, that is a great reason to start a business. So I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. I enjoyed how simple it was for him. But whether it's that simple or not today, it is fairly simple. He just needed the money for the product, and he already knew the customer base. Yeah. So we have another person who worked in the industry before they started the business. So just really smart. Well, my friends, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed Patrick Collins. Mayor Patrick Collins, thank you so much for taking the time. Pleasure to meet you. And until then, my friends, happy sailing.